Good evening, one and all. Nice to see a couple of people here already. It's another Thursday live stream, of course, and the song that we're talking about tonight is The Ghost of You, but not the old Ghost of You, the new dancey version of Ghost of You, which was incidentally how we first envisaged it and then changed it for Cartoon World. So I am gonna spin the record.
You're staring at me, your eyes are lead. You speak a language that's cold and dead. I call your name out, but you're not you. We're lost in a bad dream. And I've got nothing to bargain with. Your sculptured face set in amethyst. You walk straight at me, but you're not here. You're part of the slipstream. Yes, I'm in love with a ghost of you. But I just can't seem to hold you. You're always passing through. Yes, I'm in love with a ghost of you. But I just can't seem to hold you. You're always passing through, passing through. If there was one thing that I could do, if time would move me back in towards you. But time's an arrow that whistles fast and turns present to history. Yes, I'm in love with a ghost of you. There was one thing that I could do, but I just can't seem to hold you. You're always passing through. Yes, I'm in love with a ghost of you. There was one thing that I could do, but I just can't seem to hold you. You're always passing through, passing through. Nothing hurts like there's nothing left. What once was more, once more is less. Nothing hurts like there's nothing left. There's nothing left. Nothing hurts like there's nothing left. What once was more, once more is less. Nothing hurts like there's nothing left. There's nothing left. There's nothing left. Yes, I'm in love with a ghost of you. But I just can't seem to hold you. You're always passing through. Yes. You're always passing through.
So there we are. That was a Ghost of You. It kind of reminded me of one of those 70s remixes where the songs would go on for ages, Go West, or 80s remixes where Go West would do one and they do We Close Our Eyes, and it'd be a 12-minute version and go through all sorts of different things. We went through a few different, a few little variations through all of that. We certainly did. And obviously that song will be on Cool Hits, Curiosities and Collaborations. In fact, it is on because this week we do have a Japanese CD that they've sent through a few copies for us because it's now on sale across there. Apparently there is a site where you can get it, and it's something like, it's only like £3.50 or £5 or something for postage, so it's not too bad. And the package is really good, but we're going to unpack that later and we're going to show you exactly what's inside it, so that'll be really good. As always, if you are new, I don't think there's anyone new here tonight, unless of course they're hiding in the background not telling us. They could be, couldn't they? So we'll just say anyone there who hasn't subscribed, please subscribe on YouTube or anywhere else you like. We have been sending out blogs or a newsletter this week on the Korgis.com. So if you fancy getting one of them at any particular point, just subscribe to us on the Korgis.com, and we send you out those letters every now and then, primarily about the orchestral gig, which is going very nicely. Yes, going very nicely. Tickets selling lovely. So can't complain about that. We have a competition. Yes, we do. I'm going to stick the competition question up there. As is customary, because this is no longer the Everybody's Got to Learn Sometime competition. That has come to an end. As is customary, this is about the song itself, The Ghost of You. And so I'm going to use Leah's cartoon that she did, the original one for The Ghost of You, as a little backdrop to the question. And I had designed a question for this, and then I realized it was the same question that we used for Cartoon World, and I'd completely forgotten. So I had to redesign it last thing last night. I thought, I'll have to think of another question. So here is the other question, and there are several answers to this, and both of them are right. There we are. I'm going to put this up on screen. What band or bands was James influenced by when writing this song? The most detail wins. What band or bands was James influenced by when writing this song? The most detail wins. So there we are. There were a few places that we kind of announced that we talked about it, about which they were. I think it might have, could have been in a variety of places. But he came with that idea, and he had been listening to at least one person, and perhaps even two different people. So the most detail wins. Please, first person that gets that right, let us know. There we are. So we're pulling that back down on screen. So I think I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of this. That James came along, and have I got this here? Maybe I haven't got it here. No. I had an original little demo. I'll tell you what, I might see if I can find it. I'll find you the original demo that he played to me when he came across. 2 seconds, I think it might be here somewhere. What does it say? New funky song, it says. New funky song. Have a listen to this. You know it's something. Etc. So that was the first bit that he sent across, and he said, "I sent you something. Have a listen to it." And then he had the idea for the chorus, and he said, "Oh, can we just record this here and tag it in?" So that's why it's guitar and voice, and the other one is all drum loops and everything. But as you'll notice, some of those drum loops did end up on the Cartoon World version, and have even stayed on this version as well. Obviously, Paul Smith played over the top of the whole thing, but we then reimagined, especially the chorus drums for this, and I'll show you that on Sonar in a little bit. When you listen to all of those dance people like Calvin Harris, whatever, and you know the raves, and everyone goes like that. There's a trick to that, and we used it a wee bit on the chorus of this, so I'll show you how that works. It's quite interesting. So he brought across that loop and wrote that little thing, and I think after he sent me across the drum loops, and I think I worked on it a little bit after he'd gone and wrote some lyrics for it, and then I think I did a guide vocal for it, and there is somewhere now. This is a partially well-known secret, but if you go to the Korgis.com and the Keeping Up with the Korgis cartoons, there are secret links hidden all over there. If you go to the Ghost of You, for instance, there is actually a button. It's just a little round button that's got a letter on it. The letters, if you spelled all the way down through all the cartoons, said Easter eggs, and any fool knows that Easter eggs are hidden little goodies all over the place. So if you click on those, they will take you to early versions of these songs of where we are. And I think if you clicked on one of those, it would take, if you took down the Ghost of You, I think it would take you to the early version, possibly with me singing it just after we'd done it. Or just after I'd put it together. Before then, James and I worked on it together. So that's quite interesting. And also, I've got an idea that the other thing that you can click on there is if you click on the cartoon itself, that's also a link. And I think that might take you to James. James did a promo talking about we've got a new single, and in fact we've got a new album, talking about all of that sort of stuff. So that's there as well. So it's worth a little check out when you get a chance. Behind all of those are some very early versions of them. If you know the album well, you'll go, "Oh my God, that's really different." You know, it's quite interesting. Yeah, we then worked on it, and then we brought all the guys in the band in bit by bit to do it. And Paul is a great. It's a great sequence all the way through the video. You'll see that Paul is kind of playing it through on drums. And the whole drum track is composed of just 2 takes. I think there's a cut halfway through it. In fact, we probably stopped because there's a bit of a breakdown section in the middle. So it's composed of the whole 2 takes, and he did it live, and I don't think we edited anything from it. It just sounded so great what he was playing all the way through it. All of those little fills and stuff that he put over the top. Really nice stuff from Paul. And of course, backing vocals. Everybody came in and did backing vocals. Earlier I just played the Born to Win backing vocals, and I thought, oh, that's James, isn't it? It turned out, no, it was Born to Win. So it's funny, even we can't tell who did what. So that was the history of the original version. However, when we first did this song, it really did have like a 4 on the floor, because and that's how James envisaged it, and that's kind of how I then worked on it a little while. But I was a little worried. I just thought, you know, it's so far from everything else that's on the album, and it's so far removed from where we would normally be, that I thought we might alienate people. And there was also this feeling that maybe we were just playing about it, doing a kind of dance anthem. And so I think we chose to go down a slightly more 80s route with those big kind of Go West kind of synths on it. And I think that was a good idea for the album. It sits well on the album now, I think, and I don't think it would have sat well previously. However, the dance version is back, and the dance version is even more dancey. So I think we've done it better. We've gone to where it would be if it was a dance version with this new version of it. So it belongs in the Curiosities section, I think, perhaps. I think of Curiosities, definitely. So I will come and show you on that. And I think let's do that now, because that's quite illustrative. I'm going to grab up Sonar here and just stick you up on screen there, and show you around a few things here. So let's go right at the top first, and let's just look at these backing vocals. Quite interesting, and I thought they were really nice as well. The chorus backing vocals, because you just hear as a wash behind, but have a listen to them. They sound great. Oh, well, they will if they would play. Let's try that again. Now, you would swear that that's James Warren in there, wasn't you? But that is not. That is just Born to Win. This is with James in that block as well. Oh, we're struggling today, this is. Hopefully it'll play this out. I'll tell you, I'll move it a little forward from that. And then there's a further block. Now, I don't think I put any blocks of vocals on this, but John Baker put some lower blocks of vocals on this. And this sounds a bit like this, if it'll play. So that's how that big homogeneous sound comes about. It's the mixture of all of us playing that together. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to just grab, we got a whole folder here called loops, and I'm just going to solo them. You see there's quite a lot, and some of them are grayed out, some of them are black. When they're grayed out, it means they're muted, but there's a whole load of them down here. So if you look at all of these things here, and this is what happens. This is what the chorus sounds like with just these loops. I played the backing vocals with them, and they sounded really great. Listen to this. I think there's a future for us doing choral anthems. Something like that. What else have we got down here? Really interesting thing, the theremin. Now, often I would use a theremin plugin to do a theremin, but for some reason we used just a sample of a theremin, and this sounds like this, but it's a great sound. He says. Oh, okay, there we go. It takes a little while to get this one going. Maybe I better start that a little earlier. It's having trouble. A little bit of trouble. So yeah, that's a theremin. So that does the ghost sound. We did do it with a vocal as well. In fact, I think it was Emmy who managed to get it closer. But in the end, we decided to use a theremin. We decided that the theremin was just a little bit more exactly where we wanted to do it. I don't think I can easily find Emmy on here doing it, so I think we'll leave that well alone. The last thing I wanted to show you on here was this this disco mix kind of thing. Oof. Yes, this really is kind of having a hard time at the moment. I'll tell you what, I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to open it up because we can do that, and that might be better. I'm just checking that my... Yeah, we're good, aren't we? We're not jerking. I don't need to get the emergency live stream going yet. But that's probably because, yeah, we are straining at the leash a little bit. So let's just pull this up again, and I'll show you what I was going to show you. That'll be the one. And this is what I was talking about, those dance anthems. They use a compressor on the master. It's usually triggered from a bass drum. So when the bass drum hits and go boot, 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 it squashes the whole track. And, you know, those dance anthems where you go, oh my God, that sounds horrible. It's usually because they've over-squashed the track. And I think we only used it a tiny little bit here. Sorry, this will arrive any second now. We only used a little bit here, but I can show you what it's like if we went bananas on it. 2 seconds, just wait for it to do its thing. So I need the master, which is way down here somewhere. And on the master, you look over here, we got all these plugins going on. But the really interesting one that does all of that is this compressor at the top. And you'll see that there is not doing very much. It's only doing a tiny bit. So I'm going to play it.
There's nothing
Oh, I'm going to go back to the chorus. That'll be better. So look what happens when I pull this down. So you've all heard those dance tracks, haven't you? I think given my way, I would have had it about there. But James wouldn't let me. He said, "Oh, it sounded horrible. I hated it." So there we are. So yeah, we ended up with it being not quite so extreme as those Calvin Harris dance mixes would be. But I quite liked it. I thought it was quite a nice idea. As we were going over the top with the dance version of it. But as always, there's a fair amount of compromise. I think we all kind of respect each other's opinions enough that if someone feels strongly about something, we would go, "No, that's fair enough. Then we won't do that if you feel that strongly about it." And I know James often says to me, he said, "Are you okay with this?" You know, and sometimes I go, "Yeah, it's fine. It's working for me." And sometimes I go, "I'm not sure." So we have a good amount of cooperation that goes on everywhere there. What have I got next on my cryptic list? I'm going to go back and repeat the competition question. I haven't checked if anyone's got the right answer yet, but I'm going to put it back up on screen, and then we're going to play a little bit of a film that I've got. But here we go. This is back up on screen. Yeah, that's right. So according... No, that's right. Sorry, I've gone to the old one. That was the old one I was going to use. Sorry, I'm on the wrong live stream now. 2 seconds. We'll get back to where we should be. Sorry about that. Goes to view media. There we go. This is the one. So there we are. Leah's cartoon, and the text is: what band or bands was James influenced by when writing this song? The most detail wins. What band or bands was James influenced by when writing this song? The most detail wins. Okay, so I'm going to go and have a look at your thingies in a minute or so. But I think the next thing that we have up here is we have another one in the series of Meet the Courgette. We do. And this week we've got Gavin Clifton as Meet the Courgette. Now, they're all a bit tongue-in-cheek. You've obviously realised they're a little bit tongue-in-cheek. But this is very tongue-in-cheek, but it also has a rather more serious side to it, because I know when I started working with Gavin, I was adamant that I wanted him to be, regardless of he's got a speech impediment, he's got a cerebral palsy, which in itself causes him to have speech problems. So the two together means that he's quite hard to understand sometimes. And when I first started working with him, I was determined that we would not be limited by his inability to be able to communicate what he wanted to say. So I always made sure there was a computer handy. If there was something that he was trying to tell me and it wasn't getting across, he could write it down. And sometimes it was the name of an artist. It might be like a country artist or something. He'd go, "I want you to check this on YouTube and listen to what they've done here, and can we do something similar?" So in the early days, that is definitely how we worked more. We still do occasionally like that, but most of the time I do understand him a little bit more. But here is a little here's a little spoof, Meet the Courgette, of what happens when you don't know what someone's talking about. So I'm going to stick this up on screen now, and here we go. Here is Gavin with Meet the Courgette. Hello, it's Al Steele, and welcome to Meet the Courgette. This week we have Gavin Clifton. Welcome, Gavin. Ta-da! Lovely to have you here. As always, we're going to have some searching, in-depth questions, and people are going to learn an awful lot about you. Now, I know that you've got a bit of a speech impediment, so some people not understand completely what you're saying. We're going to put subtitles underneath it, and also I understand you completely because we worked with each other for so long that I can interpret. So there we go. I think because this is quite a short thing, but we want to get as many questions in as possible, we're going to go straight on with who are your musical influences, Gavin?
Everyone,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, great. The Osmonds. Excellent.
Yeah.
Crazy Horses was just like the best. It was like one of those brilliant things. I didn't think you were kind of old enough to be kind of really into the Osmonds like that, but now we know. So why we do these questions is because it's because we learn things. That's right. And this is a crucial one because you are a lyricist first and foremost, although you're obviously a writer now too. But which lyricist or lyricist do you most admire?
Me.
And you.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. So Val Doonigan, Richard Rogers, and you. Richard has, of course, been part of the duo Rogers and Hammersmith. So yeah, that's of course a classic writer. I mean, all of those show songs were fantastic, and I can see where you get the class in your writing from. If people like Richard Rogers and Val Doonigan are your main influences. So that's brilliant. I mean, I've got a crib sheet here, so I need to make sure that we get all these questions in so that we really know the answers for them. So yeah, the next one. I hear you're really good on the didgeridoo. And does a speech impediment make playing the didgeridoo harder or easier? That's what I want to know. Yeah. So easier. Yeah, it makes it easier. Yeah, right. Okay, great. Yeah. I mean, it is hard. It's hard to play the didgeridoo. Not that I play, even though I'm Australian, I don't play the didgeridoo, but obviously I've seen many Aboriginals who play the didgeridoo. So what do you think of the live stream?
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah.
So do you think I've got a big future in TV as a TV presenter?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Excellent. Well, I think that just about wraps up our really in-depth interview this week. And thank you so much. And thank you for coming on, Gavin. And we look forward to another in-depth conversation with somebody else very soon. Great. Cheers, buddy.
Bye.
That was Gavin there. Gavin's great thought. I told him what we were going to do on that, and he was kind of really up for it. He went, yeah, great. And he said afterwards, can I share that on TikTok? Because it's quite serious that people pretend they understand when they really don't. Then you're not doing anyone any favors. You need to do a little bit better than that, we think. I've been looking at your answers, and I think you're all barking up the wrong tree because you listen to the harmonies, which are the things that James is always influenced by, etc., etc. But this song is quite different. It's different rhythmically than anything else the Korgis have ever done before. It's different than anything I've ever heard James do before. I tell you what, you probably won't guess it, but it is in document in at least 2 places and maybe in 3 places as to what band or what bands influenced James for The Ghost of You. I'm not going to tell you what those places are yet. If nobody gets it still, I might give you a little clue as to where you could possibly look. In fact, maybe I have even given you a clue as to where to look. There we are. So I think we're going to come up to news. Kool hits Japan. It has been released, and somebody put it up on Twitter that there is a site So I'm just going to have a look at what it is. There's a site that's actually selling it, and the postage is cheap as long as you're prepared to wait 10 days for regular airmail. Although they do have options. If you want to pay a tenner, you can have it like in 3 days. I think it's CD Japan, it's called. CD Japan, and yeah, I think that's it. And not only that, but there's 500 Japanese yen off your first order, which is £3 off it. So it works out at about sort of £9 plus £3 postage or something like that. So it's hardly that expensive. However, of course, we will be releasing it here. It won't be quite the same because James and I are still tweaking the mixes as you go, as you do. But it must be said, it's a very nice package. So I'll tell you what, should we unpack it? Shall we? Should we unpack it? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to move that thing across to here. I'm going to move the camera across to here. Now, if I could be bothered, I would have set up 2 cameras and I could have just switched in the other one. But I think we're just going to grab this one and we're going to chuck it across here. And that way you can get a good, a really good look at this thing. Because it's good. It is good. Yeah. I'll get away from this camera a minute. I know I'm a bit scary there, aren't I? Here we go. Okay, so this is it. Hang on. 2 seconds. So it comes like that. And this little thing here, this is clever. I haven't seen this before. This is a little stick-on barcode. So they haven't put the barcode on the front and the back because they didn't want to mess with the cover too much. So they put them, when they use shrink wrap, they just stick these little things on the side, and that's got the barcode on it. That's clever, isn't it? Clever, those Japanese. They are. They are. So there we are. So this is like a full gloss edition here. Sorry, I'm going to get this right. Very glossy edition. I think we would probably go for matte. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But just to maybe keep it similar to Cartoon World, which is, of course, a matte finish. But that's pretty beautiful, isn't it? It's pretty nice. Nice little package. And quite slim, but not inconsequential. Inside, they've got quite a big booklet. They've just done really well with this. They've got the whole cover on there, and then all the lyrics are in the book. Sorry, I can't get this together. I'm looking the wrong way. All the lyrics are in the book. There are liner notes. There's some liner notes that I sent through to them, but also then our Japanese friend Tetsuya. Yeah. No, it's not Tetsuya. It's Junichi, our Japanese friend Junichi, who we did the Moe Hero single with. Wrote the liner notes for this because he's friends with the company who are releasing it. He has his own company. His friends are releasing it. And that's why, as well, on the bottom of there, you will see bonus track, Everybody's Got to Learn Sometime, featuring Moe Hero and featuring the Courgettes. It's Moe Hero featuring the Courgettes because we did a brand new version for it, a new track for it. And that's... quite interesting. It's really, really, really different. I mean, it's always a challenge when you say, how are you going to do a new version of Everybody's Got to Learn Sometime when it's like we've all done so many. But we managed it. We did something that was quite interesting. So there we are. That's the album. I'm going to pull our camera back to its regular position because that was a bit scary close on me. I know. 2 seconds. Something like that, I reckon. Oh yeah, there we go. Back to full life. So yeah, that's a nice thing. It's a really lovely little package. And looking forward to doing our own version of it. As I said, we've been tweaking, so again, the mixes will be very slightly different to there. Some things we've been pulling in and out, and different balances, and different EQ generally, etc. So something to look forward to. That will be late October, we reckon. We will be doing a pre-release, I think, from very early October. I am on holiday from the 17th through to the 1st. I think I'm back on the 1st at some point. So we'll sort of start to get the pre-order kind of up and ready, like a day or so after I get back, the pre-orders for that. Jury is still out as to whether we do vinyl or not. My feeling is that there won't be quite as much a take-up on this as there was on Cartoon World, and vinyl is damn expensive, unless you're buying large quantities of it. And then it's really expensive. So not as expensive per vinyl, but yeah, we're talking about thousands of pounds for any printing of vinyl. There we are. So jury's out on that, but we'll look at what we can do as we go along. Other news. So October we have our trio of dates. I'm still trying to put some dates in around November. We've got some stuff up in Yorkshire, and then we've just had another inquiry come in for up somewhere just north of Newcastle. So all the way up that vicinity, I'm hoping to put something in November, but we'll see how that goes. Yes, we will. The trio of dates that we've got at the moment are starting on the 23rd of October, the Korgis with Orchestra in Trowbridge. That is definitely a one-off at the moment. If it's a raging success, obviously we'll do it again, but we probably won't do it more than once a year. And then we'd have to change the format of what we were going to play each time when we did that. So Korgis and Orchestra on October the 23rd in Trowbridge. This is all kind of South Coast stuff, actually. The 28th, which is a Friday, I'm pretty sure it's the 28th, Havant in Southampton, or just outside Southampton, on the ring road there. I drove past it the other day. That will be the only gig that will be a proper full gig. And then Frome, we're on the same bill as Martin Kemp. So it's more of a festival kind of thing. I think we're doing a 1 hour set there, but it will be good fun because it's all 80s stuff. And I think there's a few tribute bands on and stuff early on. So it's a full kind of day. So if you want a good day out there, I think that's November the 4th or something, November the 5th, somewhere around there. It's a Saturday anyway. It's a Saturday. All these dates, of course, are up on the Korgis.com, or they're on Facebook. Hopefully they're everywhere. You can find them. I think they're on Bands in Town. They're on a few different Songkick, a few different places like that. So you should be able to check them out. Okay. I mean, the other thing that we're trying to do, and I know you can't get too excited about this because you won't be able to go, unless you really made of money. We're hoping to do some dates in Australia. We've had some dates on offer in Melbourne, and we're hoping to put some other dates around it. So we're just trying to tie down that. The offer is firm. So if we're going to do it, they want us to do it. So we're just looking at the best dates to do it. And you would imagine that some of that is about air flights as well, because they have gone through the roof. But we're hoping we can do that. On the cards further, Don't Look Back, I would hope, is going to be a Brazilian single. Well, it's going to be a single for all over the world, but we're going to do a special version in Portuguese and English with a special artist. Now, it's taken a long time to get this together, but he said he's going to do it. I'm not going to say who it is, because if it all goes pear-shaped, then I look silly, really, which wouldn't be the first time, would it? However, that's what we would like to do there. And then possibly This World's for Everyone with the Matsiko Choir. And in fact, we would kind of like to get a little bit more involved with them. It's such a great thing that they're doing out there, not just Liberia, but are in 4 different countries in the world. So we would like to get behind them a little bit. And in fact, it would be a lovely thing. We might even go out and do a week out there working with the kids or something like that, and like work up an 8-track show or something. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Yeah, we might do that. So we'll give it a go. I think that is all the news for the moment. Yes, it is. So I'm gonna, at this point, every now and then I play something of mine. I did an album a little while back called Coming Up From Down Under, and I played a couple of tracks before from it. This is one, I'm going to play a little promo that I did of it because it's quite funny. It's based on the film Casablanca, and it was about how many quotes can I get in from the film Casablanca and still write a song that sounds good. So you'll see what I did with the promo for it. And you have a bit of a laugh, as it was a bit of a laugh. Here we go. This is what it looks like.
He wore a white tuxedo, and he ran a bar, and his name was Rick. And he never drank with the customers, but he always seemed to drink too much. Well, Sam played, and Rick made sure that no woman ever stayed too long. And he never seemed to say too much, but he always knew just what to say. Where do you come from? I'm a bum, I'm a drunkard. Do you despise me? Maybe I would if I thought about it, but nobody ever loved me that much. No, she never made me feel that good. I bet she told you she got through to me. Nobody ever could. No, nobody took my breath away. No, I never trembled at her touch. So don't bother asking. Nobody ever loved me that much. Nobody ever loved me that much.
So yeah, that was my little promo of it. So what I thought I would do is we did this live. Now you'll recognise quite a few people in the band. It was quite a big band that night. You'll recognise that Paul Smith were on drums, Born to Win were on, Nigel Hart was on keyboards, and then the other few guys in the band were, the bass player is a guy called Robin Haynes, very old friend of mine, brilliant bass player, and Rob Sherwood on guitar. Rob Sherwood is my assistant here in the studio, so I get him to do all sorts of things. He sometimes steps on guitar, sometimes on bass. He takes over loads of clients. He plays keyboards as well, so he's a little clever geezer. So he was on second guitar, but as you'll see, it's not quite second guitar. He plays quite a lot of guitar through it, so it's a kind of pretty much a dual guitar band. And then the last guy was Sean McBride, very old mate of mine, sax player from Bristol, who played saxes and flute on it, and he's rather brilliant as well. So the whole band were great. And we did a little bit of staging as well. So you will see what this was like in a live situation. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Fasten your seatbelts. I used to love the film Casablanca. And I loved a lot of those little quotes that Humphrey Bogart did. Apparently, he made a lot of them up on the spur of the moment. He just sounds like a wise ass to me, really, isn't that? That's all he is. But I loved all those little quotes, and I thought, hello, you're right. What the hell's going on? Okay, I'm talking to the audience. What do you mean I need you? It's not the time and place, really, is it? Anyway, so we loved all of those little quips and quotes, and I decided to see how many of them I could get in a song. And this song is called Nobody Ever Loved Me That Much. And I just see what these guys want. There's a couple of stills, there's films, yeah. Turn the sound on, Lee. Turn it up loud. Okay, I'm loud, now.
And the names are Mr. and Mrs. Victor Laszlo.
But why my name, Richard?
Because you're getting on that plane.
I don't understand. What about you?
I'm staying here with him till the plane gets safely away.
No, Richard, no. What happened to you last night?
Last night we said a great many things. You said I was to do the thinking for both of us. Well, I've done a lot of it since then. It all adds up to one thing. You're getting on that plane with Victor where you belong.
But Richard, no one.
Now, you've got to listen to me. Do you have any idea what you'd have to look forward to if you stayed here? 9 chances out of 10, we'd both wind up at a concentration camp. Isn't that true, Louis?
I'm afraid Major Strasser would insist.
You're saying this only to make me go.
I'm saying it because it's true. Inside of us, we both know you belong with Victor. You're part of his work, the thing that keeps him going. If that plane leaves the ground and you're not with him, you'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon, for the rest of your life.
But what about us?
We'll always have Paris. We didn't have, we lost it until you came to Casablanca. We got it back last night.
I said I would never leave you.
And you never will. I've got a job to do too. Where I'm going, you can't follow. What I've got to do, you can't be any part of. Ilse, I'm no good at being noble. But it doesn't take much to see that the problems of three little people don't amount to a hill of beans in this crazy world. Someday you'll understand that. He's looking at you, kid.
Here's looking at you, kid. It's great to have slaves, isn't it? Thank you, darling. People to dress you, it's good, isn't it? What a life. He wore a white tuxedo. He ran a bar, and his name was Rick. And he never drank with the customers, but he always seemed to drink too much. Well, Sam played, Rick made sure no woman ever stayed too long. And he never seemed to say too much, but he always knew just what to say. I'm a bum, I'm a drunkard. Maybe I would have thought about it, but nobody ever loved me that much. No, she never made me feel that good. I bet she told you she got through to me. Nobody ever could. Nobody took my breath away. Oh, I never trembled at her touch. So don't bother asking. Nobody ever loved me that much. Nobody ever loved me that much. Once she had a lover, but she never really meant that much. Anyway, that's what he tells himself. That's how he forgets as time goes by. It's so long ago I can't remember. I never planned that far ahead, 'cause nobody ever loved me that much. No, she never made me feel that good. And then she told me she got through to me. Nobody ever could. Nobody took my breath away. No, I never trembled at her touch. So don't bother asking. Nobody ever loved me that much. Nobody ever loved me that much. So how will it end up this time? I'm caught up and dreaming. I wake up screaming. Nobody. Nobody. I didn't count the days, I didn't count the nights. Not once did I wish I was holding you. I didn't wait up, I didn't pace the floor. When you begged me to stay, I just walked out the door. You asked me would I give up my life, give up my freedom just to be with you. Well, I have to say, I have to come clean. It didn't even cross my mind. Here's the reason why. Nobody ever loved me that much. And she told you she got through to me. Isn't that just like her? Nobody took my breath away. No, I never trembled at her touch. So don't bother asking. Nobody ever. No, nobody ever. Nobody ever. Nobody ever loved me that much. Thank you. It's good to have girls to dress you, but it's good to have you undress you as well. Thank you. You'd never believe how long it took to get that together. There we are. That was Nobody Ever Loved Me That Much from my live night, which is called Live, Loud and Unleashed. In fact, James was on the bill earlier on. Born to Win did a set. James did a set. A good friend of mine called Boyd Clack did a set. Nigel Voyle did a set. So that was quite interesting. It was a long night. We did run out of time in the end, had to skip at least one song. But that was very good, very good fun to do. If anyone wants to see the whole concert, if you just type in Al Steele and either Coming Up From Down Under, Live, Loud, Unleashed, the song Drive In, Nobody Ever Loved Me That Much, any of those, it'll come up. And you can see the whole thing. Or, of course, if anyone wants to buy my album, I believe it's on the Korgis site. You can get it from there. I think it redirects you across to my site. But, yeah, you can definitely get it. So I must say, I think it is a good album. I was quite proud of it. I was very proud of it. Perhaps not quite as proud as Cartoon World, but it was pretty damn good. There's some good stuff on it. Very different to the Korgis, really. Even though there's a lot of harmonies, there's a lot of kind of changing chord textures and stuff like that. But it's a different kettle of fish. So interestingly, somebody has the quiz question right. Somebody has the quiz question right. So I am going to put the quiz question back up on the screen, and we'll find out who it was. Well, I can't even find it now. There we go. There it is. There it is. So the quiz question was, what band or bands was James' influence when writing this song? The most detail wins. So there we are. Tim, you've won again. This nobody can stop this man. You are absolutely right. It was the 1975. Both James and I quite like the 1975, but he just bought the new album and he was going, I love this kind of idea, these rhythms and everything that's that they have, and the sound of their albums are really good as well. Tim, I didn't know that the melody came to James in a dream, but I know the singer from the 1975. It sort of came to him in a dream, and he found something in an old book of his, and it just said, an old diary. It said the 1975, and that's why he called the band that. It was quite odd. So there was a longer answer to that, but because I've already said, Tim, you're the winner. You're the winner. There was a longer answer to that, and the answer was the 1975 and Tame Impala. Tame Impala, Australian band, quite interesting band, a bit hippie, a bit psychedelic. I think I saw them in Lisbon at a festival, and they were great. So those two bands, and where you would have found that information is, I said earlier, if you go to Keeping Up with the Korgis and you click on the Ghost of You, and there's a little interview. There's an interview with James where he's talking about the Ghost of You, and he says in there it was influenced by bands like the 1975 and Tame Impala. And also we then did a Korgis carpool, which I think we called Car Crash TV. And that's all on that's all in YouTube as well. And that's we did one about the Ghost of You, and we're driving around the car talking about it. And he then again reiterated, I was listening to bands like the 1975, or maybe I reminded him of that. So there. It might also be on the liner notes for Cartoon World. Not sure whether we put that little gem in there or not. Perhaps not. There we are. Anyway, Tim, Tim, you've won so many prizes. I think I'm going to have to ask you, what could we possibly give you as a prize? And do you know what I think we could give you? Is, Tim, I think we could give you one of our lovely copies that we've had through from Japan of the proper album. So I'm going to send you one of those. Yeah, I'm going to send you one of those. That's what we're going to do. This is probably the only time we're going to do that, because otherwise we won't have enough for the people in the band. And there's been a couple of co-writers, like Gavin's co-written, Joe Matera's co-written. I need to give a couple of copies of those out. So there we are. But Tim, there's one of them, and I'm going to send it to you, and that'll be great. So we're almost at the end of this week's live stream. Obviously, we always have a video to end with, and I have just rejigged the Ghost of You video so that it works better with this current version of it. I should talk about next week. Next week, I am working during the day with Elaine Gilmore, who is on this live stream as we speak. Hello, Elaine. And she's going to be on with me next week. So we'll delve into a little bit of stuff that she's doing and maybe have a little look at some of the things that she did on her album, which is very nice. You should buy that as well. Don't just buy my album, buy her album as well. But anyway, we'll sell that to you more next week. We will. Next week's song is the Joe Matera co-write Always a Sunny Day, about the haves and the have-nots. Obviously, the Korgis are the haves, and Joe Matera is a have-not. It's very sad for him, but it's true. There we are. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week. We have done a live stream on this before, and it isn't a new version because it's the only place it's actually released, the only place you can buy it. But we will be putting some other little gems in next week as well. So thank you all. I should just check. Yeah, that's a great prize. Good. I'm glad you like it, Tim. So thank you all for joining us. Hi to all of the guys in Brazil and all of our regular crew and both the Elaines. And we'll catch up with you soon. As always, I will leave this running for about 5 minutes. If you've got any more questions, I'll be here just taking my jacket off and stuff and getting back into my civvies. And we will see you next week. Meanwhile, we are going to leave you with the Ghost of You, the video. Here we go.
You're staring at me, your eyes are lead. You speak a language that's cold and dead. I call your name out, but you're not you. We're lost in a bad dream. And I've got nothing to bargain with. Your sculptured face set in amethyst. You walk straight at me, but you're not here. You're part of the slipstream. Yes, I'm in love with a ghost of you. But I just can't seem to hold you. You're always passing through. Yes, I'm in love with a ghost of you. But I just can't seem to hold you. You're always passing through, passing through. If there was one thing that I could do, if time would move me back in towards you. But time's a narrow that whistles fast and turns present to history. Yes, I'm in love with a ghost of you. There was one thing that I could do, but I just can't seem to hold you. You're always passing through. Yes, I'm in love with a ghost of you. There was one thing that I could do, but I just can't seem to hold you. You're always passing through, passing through. Nothing hurts like there's nothing left. What once was more, once more is less. Nothing hurts like there's nothing left. There's nothing left. Nothing hurts like there's nothing left. What once was more, once more is less. Nothing hurts like there's nothing left. There's nothing left. There's nothing left. Yes, I'm in love.